crazy. Well, you really gotta check your phrasing, Ryan, because we are back, everybody, on another installment of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye, WandaVision edition. How it do, my brother? The wiggly woo.
And or should I do that or jazz hands?
Shit. These aren't spirit fingers, Ryan.
I need to find a man with a goat and something I could do this. I know the guy with the goat. Oh, good, I could do this. I'm good, man. It's a lovely Friday afternoon in the California of the USA. And this WandaVision episode, like, holy shit. Definitely, like, the first, not the first, but it's definitely more like an MCU episode for sure, where it's like no sitcom format whatsoever. Oh my God. Just so well done and so dark. Like, this is easily the most messed up episode we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm. Definitely very much a character study episode, which I think so far the show has done the best of like any MCU anything in terms of installments in movies, TV. Although I will say probably Daredevil, but that's just because me. I'm such a Daredevil fan, and I really did like the character work they did in that show. But I guess in proper MCU, because he's not really part of the MCU yet, I believe, or they haven't really brought him into it yet. They haven't made reference to him as a character, but it's supposedly supposed to be in Spider-Man. But anyway, that's besides the point. This, in terms of like MCU stuff, great character stuff.
Yeah, not yet, because Marvel did just get the rights for Jessica Jones and Punisher, so that's two out of the big five of the Defenders group. So it's only a matter of time before they get Charlie Cox maybe not Charlie Cox. I hope they bring him back for Daredevil because he was.
Man, I think they're saying that he's in the next Spider-Man, so we'll see.
I'm hoping so. He was the best Daredevil, but yeah, this is definitely. Because again, this is the first Disney Plus / MCU show within the greater MCU besides the Netflix ones, because although they were part of it, it was kind of like they were but they weren't, because there was no reference to them at all, just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., no references of that in the movies. But this one takes place actually within the bigger MCU, legitly part of it. And before we get into spoilers, I just want to say this was easily like, why it's the best one is because we forget about it being an MCU show. Like, it's supposed to be like sitcom, comedy, action, sci-fi. Like you said, it's a character study, and it's also just a real great example of showing what grief can do to characters. Not just Wanda, but like Hayward, Monica Rambeau, and who else? That's basically like the big three of showing what happens with each of these three and how big or little their grief is. So this episode definitely reminded me that, and it was a little heart-wrenching to watch it more so than the other shows, just because again we really dive deep into not only Agatha, but we also see Wanda's life. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but this one, I know I've said I've given other episodes a 5, and I know we talked about how it's not the best to give every episode a 5, but this one definitely deserves it by far. Easily my favorite one. And again, we have one more episode for the season, which is next week. But this one, just the best one of them yet, for me, at least. What do you think, Bern?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I don't remember if I had given any other episodes a 5 on this show, but this one is definitely like a true 5, like a 5 out of 5. If I've given the other ones a 5, they're probably 4s now. And this one is like a perfect episode. This was so great, like in terms of giving us answers to questions that we had, while also exploring the psyche of Wanda's character, and really just again an exploration of like who she is in the grander scheme of things, and like how she's coming into play within the larger universe. It's so well done, and it feels like it feels both at the same time like a really big thing, but also very intimate at the same time. So it's just a huge credit to the writers, and then of course the actors who are just nailing it every episode, and this episode in particular. It's just great. Great TV, great Marvel stuff. It's everything you could have wanted from the show, really.
Yeah, and again, this is the first Marvel thing we've gotten in the last year, just because Black Widow and all those movies got delayed. They're supposed to still come out in theaters this year. Like Spider-Man: No Way Home is going to come out this Christmas of 2021. Eternals, I think, is still supposed to come out this year. Same with Shang-Chi and Black Widow. Don't quote me on that, but Black Widow is only a couple months ahead, so hopefully we'll be able to see it in theaters, or maybe they'll also just do it on Disney Plus. But I doubt it because Kevin Feige. The only time I disagree with him, I thought he was great. Now I'm like, he went down a notch in my book. That puts him at notch 1. It's like, oh, so he's only at notch 2? Like, how many notches are there? Not a lot now. It's like, oh man. But anyways, let's dive into the spoilers. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's, this is fresh into it. But, like I said, please watch this episode. This is easily one you don't want to skip on or wait on. So, listen, check it out and come on back and kind of dive in with us, if you will. Burn, are you ready?
Yeah, let's get on that jumping board and just dive right in.
Oh my God. I'd be scared to break it.
Oh no.
No, jumping boards are fun. All right, let's do it.
Jumping.
Oh my God. You just quoted Justin Thoreau from Your Highness. Jumping. Like, oh God.
Jumping. He's great. Justin Thoreau needs to be in more stuff.
He really does. He's such a great comedic dude. Like, I just miss him in comedies. And I was thinking, what was another character I want to see in more stuff? Not Matthew McConaughey. Oh my God, I can't think about it right now. Anyways, let's get into the spoilers. So, this first part of the episode where we kind of see Agatha's history, I thought was kind of like, oh, she was part of the Salem witch trials. Yeah. That's like yes and no, but because as soon as I saw like they put her in like magical bonds, it's like, oh, they're a coven of witches. Like she broke ranks essentially.
Yep. It's like a reverse Salem witch. They're taking out one of their own.
And I thought she was gonna get messed up or exiled and stuff, but no, total flip. I kind of didn't see that coming, so that was pretty cool. How she just drained them all of life. And her mother, I don't know if it was actual mom or just like a...
Or the coven mother, it didn't really say one way or another.
No, but she totally just messed him up, took her brooch like a trophy. And, oh, Agatha. I mean, I know she killed Sparky, but I didn't think she'd be this fucking evil this episode. Like, whoa. Just totally like... I mean, she kind of did it as a torture, but she also genuinely wanted to know. And she's like, Wanda, like, you know how hard it is to do what you're doing? Like, I like how she turned this bug into the bird and had it like do stuff. She was like, this takes training, practice. You've done a whole reality change on autopilot. Like,
yeah,
it was a great line of like Catherine Hahn did a great job of like portraying like envy and awe, but also just curiosity. Like, how'd you do it? And so that just goes to definitely prove like she has not had a hand in anything. I mean, besides the stuff she messed up in the song, she hasn't done shit. It's all been Wanda. Like, yeah.
That was such a crazy reveal because I thought, I guess I misinterpreted, the whole Agatha all along thing where I was like, oh, she's the one behind all of it. It's like, no, she was just behind certain things that were like messing up within this, greater construct. And yeah, then what Monica said back in episode 3 or 4 was it where she gets thrown out of the hex and she says this is Wanda. It was all Wanda. That wasn't a lie. Like it's been Wanda the whole time.
The only thing I was only questioning just because Wanda didn't remember, so I didn't know if Agatha like kind of like wiped her brain and helped her do it, or if it was just they did it together but they kind of forgot and Agatha had to remember. But it was like, nope, Agatha has been totally sane the whole time. She's been manipulating the accidents in the sitcoms while also just drama with them. So it's like, holy shit. And when she's like, we're gonna dive in, let's do some real reruns, it's like, oh no, I'm not liking that. And just fucked up how... But it makes so much sense with Wanda. Like, because I still am under the fact that she's still a supervillain at this point. Given, we'll get to that in a little bit. But the first one, how we actually see the fabled story of, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, a.k.a. Wanda and Pietro, coming to be. And their whole Stark bomb right in front of them story. That was pretty crazy to see that. Like, oh, this is really, like, just visceral. Like, they're enjoying Dick Van Dyke, and then the next moment, just boom. Like...
Yeah, it was such like a shocking scene, where it's like, the MCU's version of just like, something where there's, a country or like a third world country like in civil war, and it's like this is the reality for a lot of people where, you know, things happen and people innocents die, and it was just so like I felt it coming, like when that scene was happening where, their dad comes home. I guess he like sells like bootlegs or something, and
Yeah.
and I mean, hey, got to do what you got to do to survive in what looks like the state of Sokovia was, and yeah, like just them watching her favorite show, and I was like, oh, this is such a great moment. I know what's gonna happen here, and yeah, the whole with the bomb thing, and then the reveal that, oh, it wasn't just the bomb didn't blow up, it was manipulated into not blowing up.
How no? Well, before I ask you my question, I don't know about you, but this whole show and like other people I've talked to, it just made me want to watch like Age of Ultron, Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War. Basically, all the movies she's involved with, just to kind of like retrace her history. I haven't done it, but this episode really made me think of Zemo in Civil War. He's just like, Sokovia was a failed state long before you guys showed up, like before you blew it to hell. So it really doesn't matter to me, but you took stuff away from me. And I saw a glimpse of that when her mom was like peeking out the window. You see some fighting, and she's like, "Don't think about it. It should be fine. It's just, small
Mhm.
skirmish outside kind of thing." Um, what was I getting at? And then yeah, and then how I speculated that the lady in the commercials was her mom. Definitely not. We still don't know who that is, but it was just kind of like it was kind
Yeah.
of funny. I got that wrong. But let me ask you this: how when they talked about how the bomb never went off for a couple of days, that it was defective, and Agatha told her straight up, no, you used a probability hex. Like you basically just kept yourself safe for those couple of days. Like how does that happen in a war-torn country? I mean, how did you feel about this whole not retconning, but almost like the reveal of how Wanda's true life? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how'd you feel about it?
I liked it because it didn't necessarily negate anything that came before it. It just more contextualized it a little more, because you think like, oh, okay, it's still the same thing that happened. The bomb didn't go off, but it's like, okay, it wasn't just a defective bomb. That thing, there was something that manipulated it, and it was her. So I kind of like that idea that she had this little bit of power from the beginning, but it wasn't like completely manifested like it was now.
Yeah, I'm a little indifferent about it because I always like the grounded like the grounded point of view from it that it was stated in like Age of Ultron, where it's just like they were kids that happened to survive this, and Stark was the one who kind of started their lives. It's also kind of funny. Her and Stark have so much similarity, even though they're completely on opposite ends of the spectrum. Like she came from a poor family, he came from wealth, but their lives are going so normal for them until a bomb totally screwed up their lives.
I'll
And it was
start.
both Stark bombs. Like I think that's kind of poetic and really genius on that. But then like, one became a hero, one's kind of walking the line of a villain. Like it's just really it really kind of puts things into perspective. But then the next thing where she's like, okay, let's keep going. And just because Agatha's trying to figure out how do you know
Yeah,
this? 'Cause you've been a witch your whole life. You've had magic capabilities. You just never manifested them.
yeah.
And Wanda's in denial of it. Like, no, that's not possible. And when I see the door, I just thought, oh, hail Hydra. And then we see her experience with the stone and how she survived. That was easily my favorite part, just because when the stone like broke out of its blue thing, and you see like a shadow like the light shining on her, and it was basically the outline of Scarlet Witch from the comics. Is
Hmm.
that I was like, that is super fucking
It was
cool. Like, because I know I actually went to LA Comic Con a few years ago with a friend of mine, and Andy Park, the artist behind like Civil War and some other stuff, or he helped draw for that and for Scarlet Witch. He's like, oh, trust me, guys, I tried to do the head mount thing, but they never signed off on it. I'm like, maybe we'll see it this time. Like besides her like '90s costume, just because the outline had it. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Um, And then yeah, when like the doctors are looking at it, she basically did exactly what she did in the show, where she cut that footage like subconsciously just so people wouldn't see it. They're
Yeah,
like
I'll
how
just
is that not there? Yeah. So I was really that was easily I think my favorite flashback where it's just like it was the stone showing her who her either true self is or what she'll grow to be with the power. And it
yeah.
was just awesome.
Like the Mind Stone is revealing to her like what's really inside, and
Hmm.
that's I guess I don't really have that much of an issue with the slight retcon, you know, where it just kind of makes sense to me where the Mind Stone, if we're to believe what it is, like it wouldn't really create magic, you know, like we saw that I guess it, but that's kind of the one thing that I wish they showed a little bit more, but I guess you know it makes sense because it's Wanda's show, it's not Pietro's. But you know, showing how like he got his powers because it would only
Yeah.
showed like Wanda's stuff. So, but I guess it makes sense. It would just you know give him super speed, but it wouldn't really be one of those things where it could give her magic. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing is like I mean, if it works for her because she had magic capabilities, so she was able to this stone basically amplified it and kind of morphed it into more reality bending stuff. But then I was thinking like, so how did Pietro get super speed? Like, is it just good genes? I don't know. That's me just being really picky with it. Like, if I really wanted to crack down on the show, that'd be my thing. It's like, so she survived, but then how did Pietro survive? Because he has no magic. He was just
Yeah.
fast. Like,
Unless you
but
manipulate the probability for it to not kill him and give him powers. I don't know. That's the thing. They didn't go into it really.
yeah, it's not a huge deal. It's just something like a tiny little plot hole that if you really want to pick at it, you could, but it's not worth the headache. Just go with it. They came
Yeah.
from just good genes, essentially. We could just look at it that way. Um, and then the next flashback when, post Age of Ultron, I think before Civil War as well, because she talked about how she just moved to the
Yeah.
US. She was the only Sokovian around. And that little bonding moment that her and Vision had watching Malcolm in the Middle, it was really nice because how she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Why is this gonna make me feel better? And he's like, well, it's not all bad, right? I mean, if you really think about it, grief is just, you know, it's your love that you can't let go of. Like it's okay to feel that.
Hmm.
And again, that was the moment I really thought like, oh my God, this is a true like there again, this is a very comic book show, but at its heart, it is just like you said, a character study, but also just showing grief and how people deal with it and these reruns are basically showing that she could never get over it. So there's always something to kind of take her out of it, but never really acknowledge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she hasn't. It doesn't seem like she's had the proper time to mourn for the people that she's lost. You know, because after her parents died, it seemed like she went straight into the Sokovian Revolution, and then after Pietro died, she was like immediately like an Avenger now, and now that later on when Vision died, it's like she hasn't had time. It's like her story is so sad where she's lost like all the people that are close to her and she hasn't had the proper time to cope with it or haven't had the help at doing it. And I just love this scene so much. This is probably my favorite scene because it really gets into the characters and how they both come at it, being alone from different ways, where
Hmm.
she's had people and lost them, and Vision's just never really had anyone because he's just been created. He's not a person that's had relationships. And his line that grief is love persevering, it's such a great line from the good old wise Vision.
Yeah, that's exactly the quote. Like it's persevering. Like it's never gonna stop. You just gotta. He's basically just telling her it's okay to feel sad. You just don't be so negative about it. Think about the good things that happen. Just because, yeah, like he's never had that. He's just been created. So he's only probably like a week old at this time or however many months old because he did tell Ultron before he zapped him, like, well, I was born yesterday. So
Mhm.
I thought that was really funny. And then another thing too, I kind of like how even though Agatha's like an evil witch like, from for God knows how many hundreds of years, she still kind of said, you lost your parents and you decided to join an anti-freedom organization. And it's kind of is like a little whip at her, like you were a hero, but you joined Hydra. Like they helped the Nazis. They're just like a terrorist organization, a fascist organization.
Mm.
But she's like, well, we wanted to change the world. It's like, so that's also I think kind of showing she's had. villainous like ideals from the beginning, even though she was an Avenger. Like she still cares about people, but she's very complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where like, she's so in grief where she's not making the best decisions for herself. Like you said, like, she was sad that her parents died in this horrible accident and wanted to do something to change that, to make sure that never happened again. And by doing that, she joined, like you said, Hydra of all things. So yeah, she's not one to make, the best decisions for herself, but that's an understandable character flaw.
Yeah, because we all deal with grief differently. This is just how she dealt with it. You know, Thor dealt with drinking and eating, and Cap just dealt with it his way. Everybody's dealt with it in their own way throughout the MCU. You know,
Mhm.
Stark had a family to kind of get out, like to help him move on, but even then he still couldn't. So it's a crazy way. This show just does a great job of just really focusing on Wanda and how she dealt with it herself. And then the final rerun, or no, there's I think one or two more. It doesn't matter. But the next one where she it's post, end game essentially, literally a couple days after, and
Mhm.
she goes to Sword, which is what Hayward talked about, how she broke into Sword to retrieve Vision's body, and it wasn't even true at all. We just come
No.
to find that she just wanted to bury him. That she was like essentially, I'm his wife, like unofficially, but I want to bury him. He deserves that. I deserve that. Like she wants the closure. She is trying to move on. And then when she gets to Hayward's office, just again, total dick. What the fuck is his problem? Just
Yeah.
dismantling him is like, I can't let you take $3 billion worth of vibranium and put it in the ground. It's like I just kept talking like you motherfucker. Like
Mhm. And I also felt too like he was kind of like egging her on, where he said, like you need to do like something about like bringing him back to life. Like I can't allow you to do it. Like he was kind of like planting those little seeds in there because he was hoping that she would bring Vision back because he wants Vision as a weapon. It seems.
yeah, I mean just the yeah, how he was like, not everyone has the power to bring somebody back from the dead. She's like, and she was totally thrown off. Like, I don't want to do that. I just want my husband in the ground. Like, I just want to bury him and be over it.
Hmm.
And how she broke the glass, and he's like, no, it's fine. Let her say goodbye. Like trying to like make it seem like a nice guy on film when really he used the footage to say, yeah, she broke in and took his
Yeah.
remains. And it was just so sad when she's like using her energy, kind of like in Infinity War. And she's like, I can't feel you. Like that was hard. That sucks. Just the love of her life dismantled, like, and basically just pulled apart. And they're just treating him like a machine when it's like, no, he had feelings. He had emotion. Like, you can't just fucking treat him like a robot, even though he was. Like, it was fucked up. At the same time, logically, it's like anyone outside of Wanda would be like, yeah, why would we let her walk out with this weapon slash like expensive ass element? You
Yeah,
know?
$3 billion worth of vibranium, he said, or something like that.
Yeah, so just it was messed up. Like I understand what he's talking about, but at the same time, like, dude, she's a grieving woman. Just let her do it. Don't be an
Mhm.
asshole. Um, and then how she goes to Westview, and we find that Westview was where her and Vision planned, or at least he planned for them to just retire and grow old together. And the town's all withered away. We kind of see some of the characters, like
Yeah, well, the citizens.
yeah, like all the citizens just living life. But Westview is a really run down town. Like it was creaking by, and the house it wasn't even set up yet. It literally is just a plot.
It's just a foundation. Yeah.
And then her just again the fact that she's never had peace with any of the deaths in her life. Just Pietro, Vision, parents, anything. She just kind of she's just been kind of running from it. But then the craziest, coolest thing happened where she just purely creates the house out of nothing. I kind of like how the effects was like it was cubing it together. Like I don't know how to describe it, but almost like just literally pieces together, setting itself up. And then another explosion, she changes Westview to black and white, and Vision being created out of nothing because she didn't take the
Uh,
body. So
and like
Hayward again totally fabricated this story about her breaking in, and she just created him out of nothing.
created
Holy
a whole
shit!
new vision. Yeah, and it looks
Oh my
like the
god!
little yellow thing that looks like it was like part of the Mind Stone powers that created like this new version of Vision. I thought that was a nice little like visual detail.
Yeah, like in Age of Ultron when Ultron's building the body in that cradle and the stone is put into the skeleton essentially or the outline, and that's when it forms the yellow just because like the Mind Stone, and and then when she turns black and white, it's just like Wanda, like welcome home, or like this is our home now. It's just like, oh man, she finally got to live the life she wanted, and this is her only way of dealing with it. Like she just wanted to. Oh, it was just hard. Like I said, it's like I feel like anyone can relate to that. Like even
Yeah.
if you haven't lost someone, it's like if you did lose that love of your life, if you had the power to shoot live their life with them again, wouldn't you? Kind of thing. So and then Agatha is just egging her on the whole time, and she's like, well. And the whole time she was doing this, she's because like, well, your kids are hostage in my basement, so we're gonna do this regardless if you want. And outside, how she has all in her witch garb with the little eye makeup and stuff, which I thought she looked really cool, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Catherine Hahn looked great, all witched out.
Yeah, they made her more witchy.
And then the name drop, this you're the Scarlet Witch, creating reality out of nothing. It was like name drop. She called her. Finally, it's
Yeah, like
acknowledged.
the magic you're using is chaos magic. You're a legend. Like no one knew that you were actually a real thing. Like speaking about like Wanda having like this crazy power, like it's been a myth even within the whole witch community and all that stuff. I was like, whoa, that adds like a whole another dimension to her as a character being this being that even witches are like, is that even possible? It's like being a Scarlet Witch, wielding this power to manipulate reality itself. It's like it's unheard of to them.
And again, like I know I've been talking about all season how she's gonna be in Doctor Strange, but this definitely makes so much more sense why she'll be a villain in that movie. Because again, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, she's the Scarlet Witch. Like magic is just an ever revolving thing, and they're part of the MCU. So, just Agatha, what a monster, holding the kids hostage, like basically like on strings around their necks and stuff, like little magical strings. I thought that was messed up. We still don't know what happened with Monica because we saw how Pietro, I like how she called him fake Pietro. I thought that was really clever. That makes sense. And we don't know what happened with that. And what else am I thinking of? Vision, he's still nowhere. He kind of was like flying to the house, but he's not there yet. I don't know
Yeah,
how,
he's
but
not back yet.
he's taking a long flight.
Hurry up!
And then that mid-credit scene, just oh my! Again, Hayward has been a true villain. Like I know Wanda is a little villainy right now, but Hayward takes it all. Just what a dick.
This is a total decoy.
Even though he's told everybody, well, he's not supposed to be a weapon. He deemed in his will that he just wants to stay dead, never be brought back. But clearly, Hayward just used his corpse to make another android, another
Yep,
Vision.
they just rebuilt Vision, the White Vision.
And they took the another again. Stark has started her life and also started Vision's life too. With just the whole like, actually no, he's been barred both of their lives. He created both of them essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So Stark will always be Dr. Frankenstein of the MCU.
Damn it,
And
Tom.
seriously, no wonder Thanos killed you. Not really. But how they took the energy from the drone and stuff instead of just using the footage, they used the physical energy attached to it. I'm thinking it's another Ultron moment. I don't know. We'll have to see in the next episode, but it's such a hard episode. So great, but so tough to watch.
Yeah, they set up a lot for the finale. So hopefully the finale really, takes this and just runs with it because it was really good stuff in this episode.
I think Vision's gonna go against his white clone, and
Mhm.
then her and Agatha, like Wanda and Agatha, are just gonna go at it magical wise. And I know Agatha, like at first she was, it's like curious about like how she discovered his chaos magic, how she wanted to know how you did it, and now she's like, I gotta stop you. I can't let you keep doing
Like
what
you're
you're
too
doing.
dangerous to be left alive.
Yeah, it's like screw you, lady. She didn't do this out of malice. She just created the world just because she saw this messed up town, wanted to make it better, live her life with her family. Like it really is like it's like a how do I put it? Like not meant to be a villain, but she did it just not knowing the consequences essentially. It was just so
Yeah,
unintentional.
yeah, and that's why I hesitate to really, call her a villain just because it's a little more complicated than that. It's not like she's doing it to oppress these people on purpose. it just comes from a place of grief, essentially.
Exactly. But god damn it, we gotta wait another week for this. This is bullshit. Fuck a goat. I finally watched all the 40-year-old version after like years because I don't think I've seen it like the whole movie forever. And it's just, oh my god, the movie's funny. But anything else you want to add to this episode, Burn? Like anything that caught your eye or made you think about the greater MCU or anything?
I'm just thinking that this is going to be Vision's way out, because where last we saw he tried to leave the hex, so he was just completely being pulled apart because he doesn't exist outside of this reality. I think him and this new body for Vision are going to merge, and we're going to have that Vision going forward, within the MCU. That's my theory, at least right now.
Oh, that'd be super sick. That is a great idea. Hope we'll have to see what happens, or it'll just be Vision telling Wanda like, "This is it. I just want, just let me go. It's okay. Like you'll be fine." In reality, she won't be fine. She'll just cause more chaos in the world and stuff. But
And also too, I think this episode really, I guess, put the nail in the coffin to where I don't think this is going to be the way that they introduce mutants into the MCU. Like, I know Monica went through a little bit of a mutation, but, not really. Like, she got her powers from the Hex Wall, not from just something, within her own, genetics. And them categorizing Wanda as more of a witch here.
then a
Like,
mutant.
yeah, than a mutant. I think, my theories of this being like the introduction of mutant is not correct.
Well,
Although,
we'll have to see what happens.
yeah, if something happens next episode where it's like, oh, never mind, they are mutants. We'll see.
Let's keep it down, smarty pants. Okay, you had some cool thoughts. Let's not get ahead of yourself. Thank you. Okay, let's just take it down because I'm up to here with that. Okay, so let's just take it down. And how are we gonna take it down? Because you agree with me. Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh man, but that'll do it for me. Like I said, everybody, this has been such a great show, and this episode you can't miss. Fills in a lot of gaps about her and like the greater MCU a little bit. Well, her journey through the MCU more specifically.
Mhm.
So I can't wait for the next one. Can't believe it's already coming to an end, but. With March basically right around the corner, we're gonna get Falcon and Winter Soldier in a matter of weeks. So
Yep.
it's not gonna be too bad. Like we're not gonna be without Marvel for a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have a lot more Marvel stuff coming up, but that and Loki. So there's plenty of stuff to look forward to this year.
Absolutely, you're not wrong, Bernie. You're not wrong there. You're wrong about other stuff, but you're not wrong there.
Oh my god.
I'm just so petty. Anyways, but yes, I'll talk to you later, Burn. Everybody, stay bodacious, keep on ranting, and stay magical.
And yeah, we'll see you for the finale. Ooh, wiggly woo.
Deuces.
Adios.